What's up, guys? It's time for me to make my Week 11 picks. Let's dive into it. We have the Saints taking on the Eagles. Let's start off with Philly. They're coming off an impressive win over the Denver Broncos. There's something about Jalen Hurts. I'm not sold on if he's a franchise quarterback or not, but there's something there. He has potential, and I'll give him to the end of the season to figure out if I would keep him another year or take a quarterback long term. Philly has the second easiest remaining schedule in the NFL, and they've shown some life over the last couple of games. However, I'm going with New Orleans. They had a shot to beat the Titans in Tennessee last week. They almost beat Atlanta in the Superdome. Alvin Kamara comes back. I believe the Saints win in Philly. Next up, we have the Washington football team taking on the Carolina Panthers. Cam Newton is back. I'm not saying that Cam Newton is a superstar or a competent NFL quarterback. However, I believe he can still play in this league, and he provided a spark, some leadership, an energy boost that this team desperately needed. Sam Darnold wasn't working out. He wasn't the answer for this team. Now Christian McCaffrey comes back into the fold. They're at home. I just like the new sense of energy in the building. The Washington football team is coming off a very impressive win over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but I expect them to lose this game. Cam Newton will beat his former head coach. Give me the Panthers. Next up, we have the Browns taking on the Lions. The Lions have a shot to do something legendary this season. They have the opportunity to become the first team to go 0-16-1. They tied the Steelers last week in Pittsburgh. Jared Goff isn't the long-term answer at the quarterback position. This team does, however, have 2 first-round picks over the next 2 years. On the other side, Cleveland is coming off a devastating loss to the Patriots. I expect the Browns to play better. Nick Chubb comes back into the fold. This team is still very talented, and they should beat the Lions in Cleveland. I like the Browns. Next up, we have the Bills taking on the Colts. Folks, I really want to pick Indy in this matchup because if Indy wins, New England takes over first place in the AFC East. But I like the way how the Buffalo offense is playing. Josh Allen had a bounce-back game after stinking it up against the Jags. He finds a way to light up the Colts defense. If Carson Wentz can take care of the football, they play through Jonathan Taylor, and Michael Pittman makes some big plays, this game can come down to the wire, but I think Buffalo will start to take over at the end of the third quarter. Give me the Bills. Next up, we have the 49ers taking on the Jaguars. I'm going to go with the Niners in this game. They finally found their identity. Now, George Kittle has sparked this offense. Deebo Samuel is one of the best receivers in the NFL. On the other side, Jacksonville's a mess. They're one of the worst teams in the NFL. San Francisco could very well be competing for a playoff spot. I like the Niners in Jacksonville. Next up, we have the Titans taking on the Texans. Folks, I don't need to waste my time on this one. The Titans currently have the best record in the AFC, whereas the Texans have the worst record in the AFC. I'm going to go with the Titans. Next up, we have the Vikings taking on the Packers. This isn't going to be an easy game by any stretch of the imagination for the Green Bay Packers. Minnesota has been in every single game they've played in all season long. Minnesota is actually the only team that has had a lead by 7 points in every single game they've played. But I like the Packers. Aaron Rodgers has dominated Minnesota throughout his career. You also have to take into consideration the fact that the Packers defense is playing at an all-time high. Even without Jair Alexander and Zadarius Smith, they held the Chiefs offense to 13 points and they shut out Russell Wilson. Give me the Packers on the road. Next up, we have the Ravens taking on the Bears. Justin Fields is starting to grow and develop before our eyes. He had a big game on Monday Night Football against the Pittsburgh Steelers. That game was obviously overshadowed due to the number of penalties and bad calls. However, Justin Fields is growing, and that's the most important thing for the Chicago Bears this season. I don't expect them to win this game against the Ravens because Baltimore is coming off an embarrassing loss to the Dolphins. Lamar Jackson will get it together. I expect the Ravens to win on Sunday. Next up, we have the Bengals taking on the Raiders. I like Cincy because they're coming off a bye. Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase have been on fire all season long. You also have to take into consideration the number of distractions the Raiders have dealt with all season long. First, we had the John Gruden incident, followed by the Henry Ruggs situation. They just cut Damon Arnett last week. This team has dealt with a ton of dysfunction. I don't love the energy that I'm seeing. Give me Cincinnati. Next up, we have the Seahawks taking on the Cardinals. Russell Wilson did not look good in his return. I believe he will play better against the Cardinals. However, if Kyler Murray is able to come back for this matchup, I just don't see them winning this game because Arizona has been the best team in the NFL when Kyler has been cooking this season. I like the Cardinals. Next up, we have the game of the week, the Dallas Cowboys taking on the Chiefs. When I look at the landscape of the AFC, all of these teams, with the exception of the Titans and Patriots, failed to take advantage of the Chiefs struggling over the first half of the season. Shame on you guys. The Titans have 8 wins. The Patriots have 7 wins. Everyone else in the conference has 6 wins or less. The Chiefs looked bad early on. It looked like they could potentially miss the playoffs. But now they finally found their groove and hit their stride on both sides of the ball. The Chiefs' defense shut down the Giants' offense on Monday Night Football, albeit against Daniel Jones. They held Jordan Love to 7 points. I get it, it wasn't with Aaron Rodgers under center, but when you hold a team to 7 points, you deserve credit. And last week, Pat Mahomes threw for 5 touchdowns. He's going up against a tough test. The Dallas defense is legit. I'm taking the Cowboys on the road. I just trust their defense more than Kansas City's, and I expect them to run the football effectively, which will keep Mahomes on the sideline. Give me the Cowboys. Next up, Sunday Night Football. We got the Chargers taking on the Steelers. I feel like these games come down to the wire. Back in 2018, the Steelers had a huge lead against the Chargers with Big Ben and AB having a huge first half. The Chargers ended up pulling off a massive comeback. Phillip Rivers got hot, made some huge plays, and special teams was a big factor. In 2019, with Devlin Duck Hodges under center, the Steelers went on the road and beat the Chargers on Sunday Night Football. Joey Bosa and Jerry Tillery just tested positive for COVID, and Big Ben's status is still up in the air. However, I'm going with the Chargers because I picked them to make the playoffs before the season started. I just don't love the Steelers' offense, regardless of who's the quarterback. Big Ben is on his last legs, and Mason Rudolph is a guy that I've never believed in. Give me the Chargers. Finally, Monday Night Football, we get the Giants taking on the Buccaneers. Daniel Jones has had some success against this Tampa Bay defense. He's also made some huge mistakes, but I expect him to play well on Monday night. That being said, he will fold late in this ball game when it matters most. Daniel Jones has some arm talent. He's got some mobility, but I just think he has a limited feel for playing the quarterback position. On the other side, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense is coming off of 2 huge losses Tom Brady has not played well over the last 2 weeks. I expect him to get his act together. This offense is bound to have an explosive game. Tampa Bay wins in Tampa. They haven't lost a game in Tampa Bay all season long. Give me the Buccaneers. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you liked this video. Be sure to smash that thumbs up and leave a comment down below. Thanks guys.